Hi, everyone. Welcome to the asynchronous version of PLS171 Plant Propagation from UC Davis. This video is mostly going to be about how you navigate this course and how you are able to complete the lab content. I'm going to be your propagation guru for the quarter, so I have been preparing things for this class for, well, I guess you could probably say up to a year because I started some experiments last year that we kept running, and you'll see some results of those. But realistically, it's been more like 6 months where I'm treating this very much like a cooking show. So I show you how to compile all the ingredients, and then we pull the finished product out of the oven. There are some of the experiments that take only about 8 weeks that I'm able to complete and do synchronously with you. Well, it's all asynchronously, but in the same sort of timeline that you're doing in class. And some of the other things I just have to provide you the dates for your propagation experiment. I'm going to share my screen with you for a little bit and talk to you about some of the components of the class. Each lab, you're going to be responsible for several things. There is a pre-lab. The pre-lab is a quiz that's on Canvas that is going to be based, all the questions on that are going to be based on the handout that goes with the lab for that week. Then there's going to be a series of PowerPoint slides that you'll access, and each of those PowerPoint slides is going to have links. And if you're watching this video, you've found the PowerPoint slides because there's no other way that you would have been able to find a link for this video otherwise. And then there's going to be a post-lab quiz. The post-lab quiz is specifically on the videos that you've watched. The questions of those are going to be randomized per student. So you will not necessarily get the same questions as other people in the same class as you. But each of those questions is going to come from a video. You'll probably have, I think it's going to be like one question per video, but I'll have to work out some of the kinks for some of the point values of that a little bit later. So you may end up with like 2 or 3 questions from a specific video if it has a lot more weight or content to it. And then the last thing that you're going to be responsible for is going to be a lab notebook. And I have a whole separate video for how to compile that lab notebook and the different components of it. So that'll be the video that you watch after this. So let me just share my screen with you, and I'm going to show you first what our PowerPoints look like so you know how to navigate those. And then I will also share with you an example of what those lab notebook what the protocols are for this in general. Okay, screen share, and first let's go to the PowerPoint. So you had to have found this PowerPoint if you were going to be watching this video. There's just no way around it otherwise. So what I do is I put together a set of slides, and each set of slides has some reference materials. Right now, I don't have this link in here because I'm making this video, and then after I'm done making this video, the link will go here. But you can just use Control-Click on any of these YouTube videos, and it should just take you to the link. Some of the videos are unlisted if it's information that's specific just to this course. Some of the videos are listed publicly if it's just a general propagation thing, because I like to just teach propagation to everybody. And so you'll get some public comments in there as well. And I wouldn't necessarily go through and watch all the videos like in the order that they're listed on YouTube, because it's not necessarily going to be the same content that you guys are going to have for this course. I'm changing some of the experiments and redoing some of the videos. And so it's not a linear thing. You can't just go to my YouTube channel and be like, oh yeah, this is all that I need for plant propagation, because I'll be adding things throughout the quarter. This next one is for compiling your lab notebook, and there's a new video there. I have just a little snapshot of what that looks like here, and then there's a very in-depth video that goes along with it. Each week there will be a chalk talk where it's just kind of like a chalkboardy kind of set of drawings and me going over the general components of what you're going to be learning in the lab. And then after that, you'll get some content for each of these things. I'll include pictures of the plants that we're propagating so that you can make observations from those pictures and just get a snapshot of what we're doing in general. And then you'll get some information on how to do those. I will also hold office hours every week, and we're gonna do like a doodle poll to figure out when office hours work best for you guys. I understand that I'm teaching across many different time zones right now, so I'm okay with setting up something that's an early morning and something that's a late afternoon for me in the Pacific time zone. Everything for the lab for the week will be uploaded by noon on Tuesdays, and everything will be due on Saturdays at midnight of the same week. If you guys have an extenuating circumstance, 2020 was full of extenuating circumstances, and 2021, though we're improving, still has some of those extenuating circumstances. So just make sure that you reach out to me if you really need some sort of extension on a deadline or something like that, and we'll see how we can be flexible with that. Next, I'm going to show you guys what the protocols look like, and these will also be in the labs folder in general. So here, this is lab 1. This is last year's protocol, so I have some updates to do on this before it's uploaded. But in general, we'll give you some objectives. We'll give you a general introduction to the kinds of propagation that you're going to be exposed to. We will have a list for materials and methods. Here is going to be a good place for you to check to see which species are going to be included in your lab notebook. But sometimes we'll have extra ones in here that are just like observational things that you won't necessarily need to include in your lab notebook. And I'll specify in the PowerPoint slides which ones you need to include in your notebook and which ones you don't need to include in your notebook. Then we'll have the materials listed here and the methods for how to do these things. I'm trying to weight stuff so that for the most part, you're getting information, you're getting plant materials that you should be able to grow on your own at home with minimal amounts of setup. I wanted this course to be as hands-on as it could be for you guys without you actually being required to touch plants. So a lot of this stuff will come from the grocery store or things that are common plants that are grown around in different areas. So anyways, this will tell you a little information on what kind of data we're going to collect, what you need to include in your lab notebook, and those will be updated on a weekly basis. So that's pretty much it. Every week, just as a reminder, you have a pre-lab quiz, and the pre-lab quiz is based on that protocol that I just showed you. You have the lab videos to watch, and associated with each of those videos is going to be a Canvas quiz. There's not one quiz per video, it's just one quiz per set of videos that should be done after you're done watching those videos. And those are randomized questions on Canvas. And then at the end of each week, you will also be giving us just one component of that lab notebook. And whenever you watch the lab notebook video, which is next, you'll see which component that is. Please feel free to reach out to me if you have questions or you need to email me. I can set up office hours by appointment, or we will do a doodle poll and figure out when office hours work best for you. Okay, welcome aboard, and I hope you guys learn a lot about propagating plants this quarter.